Hey everybody, it's Alissa. Happy Friday. I'm back since it's Friday with my Facebook Friday five picks that you can find to read this weekend on Hoopla. I am going to add a sixth pick this weekend, not available on Hoopla, but I'll tell you why at the end. So my first pick this weekend is for early chapter book readers, and it is Tales of My Father's Dragon. The first book in the series is My Father's Dragon by Ruth Stiles Gannett. This is the story of Elmer, who hears about a baby dragon who's being held captive on an island and being used by a bunch of lazy animals to kind of ferry them back and forth across this river. And when he hears this story, he knows exactly what he has to do. So he packs his backpack with all of his important supplies: chewing gum, lollipops, and lots of rubber bands. And he sneaks off. And along the way, he meets a bunch of exotic animals, and they all try to distract him. But Elmer, he's determined to rescue the dragon. Is he successful? You can find out in My Father's Dragon. Sorry about that. So my next book, I haven't done a nonfiction pick for you guys in a little while. So my next book is a picture book biography, and it is called A Spy Called James: The True Story of James Lafayette, Revolutionary War Double Agent. It's written by Anne Rockwell. So this picture book biography is of James Lafayette, who was a slave who spied for George Washington's army during the American Revolution. But afterwards, while America celebrated its newfound freedom, James was returned to slavery. His service did not qualify him for the freedom that was promised to enslaved slaves if they fought for the revolution, because he served as a spy, not as a soldier. So for James, the fight wasn't over. He had to continue to fight for his freedom. Was he successful? You can find out in A Spy Called James. So my first pick for my middle grade readers this weekend is the Newbery Award-winning Hello Universe by Erin and Trada Kelly. So this story it's told from four unique perspectives. So it chapters alternate who's telling the story. So it's four lives that are woven together in one day in a kind of unique way. So we have Virgil, who's very shy, very kind-hearted, and he doesn't feel like he fits in with his sports-loving family. And then we have nature-loving Valencia, who is deaf and secretly very lonely. And then we have self-proclaimed psychic Kaori, whose little sister Jen is always following her around. And then last but not least, we have Chet, who's a bully. And he wishes that the weird kids would just stop being so weird, because he just wants to concentrate on basketball. They're not friends. None of them are friends until Chet pulls a prank. And this prank traps Virgil and his pet guinea pig at the bottom of a well. And it sends Kaori, Jen, and Valencia on a quest to rescue him. Are they successful? You can find out in Hello Universe. So my next pick is a book that I recommend not just for middle grade readers, middle school readers. I also think that this is a book that every adult should read as well. And it is called New Kid by Gerry Craft. This is the story of Jordan, who loves nothing more than drawing cartoons. And he wants to go to an art school. But instead of sending him to this art school that he desperately wants to go to, his parents enroll him in a prestigious private school that's known for its academics. And now Jordan is one of the few kids of color in the school, not even just his grade, in the whole school. And so he makes the daily trip from his neighborhood to the upscale Riverside Academy, and he finds himself torn between the two different worlds. And he's not fitting in either place. So not only is this a story about being a new kid and struggling to fit in, but it's also it's a very complex story about racism and the micro and macro aggressions that Jordan encounters on a daily basis, like a teacher who calls every black boy in class the same name because she just can't tell the difference between them. So it's a wonderful story to use to open discussions about microaggressions and what they are and how hurtful they can be. It's a really good book to talk about racism. And so I think it's an important book that kids and adults should read and read together and talk about and think about. It's won a whole bunch of awards. So it's a really brilliant graphic novel. New Kid by Gerry Craft. And the sequel is coming out soon. This fall, I think. And my last pick this weekend is for my teen readers. And this weekend I am recommending American Street by E.B. Zaboy. So this is the story of Fabiola Toussaint. And she and her mother are immigrating to the United States from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And when they arrive in New York, Fabiola's mother is detained because she does not have the correct paperwork. And Fabiola is sent on to Detroit without her mother. And the warm, welcoming family that Fabiola has always dreamed about is not what she finds when she gets to New York, or to Detroit. Her aunt is exhausted, and her cousins are tough as nails. And the neighborhood that she is living in now is just as dangerous as the one that she left in Port-au-Prince. And she's trying to assimilate to American culture, but also at the same time holding on to her family's traditional spiritual traditions and their voodoo practices and keeping her family culture while trying to be American because her cousins are American and are a little bit embarrassed by their Haitian cousin. So just as she starts to kind of find her footing in her new home and she gets a little bit of a surprising romance started, she's presented with a dangerous proposition. Now, this proposition could reunite her with her mother. But Fabiola soon realizes that freedom comes at a very dangerous cost. And is she going to be willing to pay the price for the American dream? American Street by E.B. Zaboy. It's a National Book Award finalist as well. So those are my Facebook Friday 5 picks for this weekend. All of them are available on Hoopla with no waiting. Now, my bonus book for this weekend is unfortunately not one that is available on Hoopla. It is available to request on Overdrive. So I don't know if you've heard, Lois Lowry, yes, the Lois Lowry, will be speaking at Cary Library virtually on Thursday, June 4th. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, what are you waiting for? Stop everything right now. I will wait. Go sign up. You do not want to miss this chance to hear one of the most brilliant minds in children's literature speak about the importance of children's and young adult literature. She's amazing. You're not going to want to miss this. Trust me. Go sign up. But she's also going to be talking about her new book, On the Horizon, Reflections of World War II, which is a totally different book for Lois Lowry. It is a nonfiction verse reflection piece. It talks about the bombings of Pearl Harbor and the bombings of Hiroshima. And it's in verse, so it's all poems. But as much as it talks about those two things, it's also about connections and the small connections in life that we don't notice that often might have deeper meanings. There's a couple of really poignant examples in her own life connected to specifically the instances of World War II and Pearl Harbor, and that are really meaningful and moving. So I'm actually really looking forward to hearing her talk about this and her writing process for this and in general, because she is a huge inspiration for me. And so I encourage everyone, if you have not signed up yet, again, sign up to hear Lois Lowry. It's a once-in-a-lifetime amazing opportunity to hear one of the biggest voices and most important voices in children's literature speak. So those are my picks for this weekend, and I really hope that you have a lovely weekend and get to curl up with a good book. Bye.